There's a universal visual language technique that is extremely important in photography as it is in all other visual arts, and that is the use of color theory. But as photographers, what is color theory and how might we use it to level up our compositions? That's what I'll be covering in this video. We're going to briefly brush up on some color theory first and foremost, and then I will show you some real world examples of accentuating a subject with color, diverting attention with color, and then my personal favorite, how to change the mood of a photo with color. Now, learning how to use color in photography is such a great unlock for your compositional abilities. It is literally like a tradesman picking up a hammer for the first time, learning it, and then adding it to their toolkit. It really is that fundamental of a tool. But I've already talked about this in a super succinct way in my ultimate guide to color theory in just 12 minutes video, so please go and check that out first if you would like a really good understanding about what it is. But for the sake of this video, I will recall some important concepts that we need to understand when thinking about how to use color in our photos. So first, we need to look at what is called a color wheel. So colors are universally accepted to be organized on a wheel, and on this wheel, every single color is present. Now, the arrangement of where each color sits is really important. Colors that oppose one another are called complementary colors, even though they are opposite one another. But they are complementary because when they're sat next to each other on an image, they provide the highest amount of visual contrast or difference in the image. Because of that, they work. They are super contrasty, and that's what makes them complement one another. Blues and oranges and greens and reds and purples and yellows. You'll see these everywhere once you know where to look and what to look for. Now, there are many other kind of color themes to discover, but one of the main color themes we use all the time in photography is called analogous. Analogous colors sit together on the color wheel. They're like fanned out and generally represent one main hue, one primary hue, and then the colors that sit left and right to that main hue. Now, a lot of times with blues, and aquas and then greens, we might find these in the ocean. We might see a lot of oranges and yellows and sometimes purples depending on the time of day, usually around sunrise and sunset. Now we're going to discover some of these color themes in our examples coming up. So let's get into the very first example. Here is a picture of a backlit pagoda in Kyoto and the sun then setting behind it. And this is one of my favorite times to shoot because if you time it perfectly, you can get the sky right as it becomes darker and moves into twilight, and then contrast that with the very last light of the day. This image is a classic version of the complementary color theme because we have blue and orange together. Mainly, I'm using orange here as a brighter luminosity to really pop out the pagoda and show you, the viewer, that that is the star of the composition here. Now, with some editing, we can go the other way and change our white balance completely to make the scene more cool and more blue. And that means that the orange would actually stand out even more because the difference in the intensity makes it still pop. And even though it does take up less visual space, the orange that is. Alternatively, we can go all the way to the other direction and warm the entire image up with white balance to make it all orangey and yellow, but now the pagoda isn't as punchy because everything is punchy. Also, it's not really my style, but it is interesting to see as a little bit of an experiment. This is the power of using color contrast and complementary colors to draw your attention to the main subject of the scene. Here's another example of a shot of a spider lily using a very classic green and red complementary color scheme. And in this example, I focused a lot on positioning myself physically to get the positioning of the spider lily to rise up and sit on the green background. Now, yes, it pops because of the positioning and the highlight on it, but it also pops because it's on a green background. Now, if I were to edit this and to change the green to a similar color to the red in the foreground, then this is what will happen. The flower will start to blend into the background. Of course, it still stands out because of the positioning and the highlight, but the green version just has so much more punch to it. Okay, this next one is something that I love doing and I do all of the time. It is the idea of using color to accentuate visual hierarchy, which is something that I talk a lot about on the channel. In this edited image, the red of the leaves is the star of the show. Yes, Mount Fuji is majestic and wonderful, and some would argue that it is the main subject, but for me, for this image, I specifically chose the leaves, especially at this time of year and especially for this particular composition. So in this image, I wanted the leaves to stand out, so I took some of the other colors away. Specifically, I reduced the saturation of all of the blue globally, and then I locally adjusted the foreground brush to have less saturation as well, leaving only the really red leaves at the top. Now, this is the unedited version, and you can see that the blue is far more rich than in my edit. And it definitely makes it feel more like Mount Fuji is the star of the composition when it is like this, and almost like the leaves are inconsequential. Not really my intention with the image, but the point is, if there is any portions of the composition where you really want to highlight one particular color or location, rather than pumping up the saturation on that element and making it look a little bit fake, just slightly desaturate everything else and remove the intensity from the rest of the scene. Alrighty, before we move on to the last one, if you're enjoying this style of video and you want even more photography tips for free, then hit the link in the description to get 30 insights and exercises to supercharge your photography. All you gotta do is enter your email and I'll be there to deliver one juicy tip in just 2 to 4 minutes every single day in your inbox. Okay, finally, using color to change the mood. If you watched the Ultimate Guide to Color Theory video, you'll know that generally, different colors have different implied meaning depending on what culture you're from. This implied meaning transfers over to photography as well. And one very easy way to start utilizing this is to simply just change the time of day that you shoot. All right, check this one out. This is a shot of a building in Tokyo, shot at 3 different times of day. Now, let's take a look at the first one, which is shot at golden hour. And you'll notice that the color palette is mostly a golden yellow, right? There's lots of highlight detail up top, and a lot of the building and the street below falls to shadow because there's no more light. Because of that, this image feels warm and slightly nostalgic due to the yellow tone and soft glow of the highlights in the background. Fairly interesting. Now, this next shot is the same shot on a different day, but also at a different time, a slightly later time. Now, this is just after the sun has fully set, but the clouds are high in the sky and they're still lit from the residual light. It's not blue hour just yet, so the rest of the composition is actually really dark because there's no ambient light, and the buildings haven't turned on the lights yet either. But what kind of vibe does this image give off? It's definitely different to the very first one, and it's definitely different to the next one that I'm about to show you. And that next one is this. So this is the same shot just half an hour or so later. All of the lights have come on. It's fairly dark, so I had to bump up the exposure quite a bit. And it is blue hour. And on that day, the sky was still lit a little bit from the sunset and it started to turn a little bit purple. And the clouds were absolutely perfect. But this image is super intense, right? There's like saturation everywhere. All the colors are bold and bright and beautiful, and it's just a really punchy image compared to the other two and gives off a completely different mood and vibe and energy. To me, this is a very super energetic photo. It feels very buzzy and vibey and full of life and excitement, very different to the first one. And so you can see from these 3 examples, it's very easy to achieve different vibes and different looks just simply by showing up and shooting at different times of day, or even just staying at the same location and waiting for a little bit and capturing the stages of a sunset or a sunrise. All right, that's it. Those are 3 different ways that you can use color theory in your photography to really level up your compositions. Let me know what techniques you usually use in your compositions. And remember, if you want me in your inbox for the next 30 days, teaching you insights and exercises to really supercharge your photography, then check out the link in the description and sign up for free. All right, I'll see you in the next video. But until then, get out there and make something that matters. Peace.